Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting. We're going to take a look at some of the races on the Claiming Crown card, which opens the winter meet at Gulfstream Park. And they have a Rainbow Six that starts in the sixth race. We're going to take a look at the last four races that make up the Pick Four. Jim, the fields are huge. About every race just about has a full field. So it is a very difficult day from a handicapping standpoint. But if you can be right enough times, you ought to get well rewarded.
Yeah, you can. The Claiming Crown has become a very popular event in December in Gulfstream since it moved from, at one time it was Ellis Park and then Canterbury. It's a great idea to get these horses a shot to run for more money, and Gulfstream's taking it to the next level because they've got great fields all day long, and you can seriously make some money down there if you can get the right horses.
Well, let's start in the eighth race. It's the Claiming Crown Canterbury Stakes, turf sprint at 5 furlongs. Who did you land on?
Speaking of Canterbury, they named one after the track where this thing started. I landed on Partly Mocha, the 7-horse coming out of Churchill. Mike Maker brings this horse down to Florida with Le Peru taking them out, and had a race against much better than a lot of these have been running against, an optional $62,000 race at Churchill last out. 1 3/4 at 5 furlongs. The horse is 2 for 3 at Gulfstream. I think there's a lot of reasons to like Partly Mocha in here, and he's the one that I actually chose on top. I can make a case for American Sailor, the 3 with Corey Lannery, for Joe Sharp, who ships from Laurel, but also won a claiming race at Ellis Park this summer on the turf, and those Ellis Park turf horses have done pretty well shipping out of there. Stevie's Mon, the 9, is in good form, and I think the other horse that I used in there was the 10 Super Spender for Jones Sabelli, who's probably going to be the favorite off that last race at Gulfstream Park West. But I'm going to take the Churchill Downs shipper Partly Mocha on top of those 3 horses.
I was between Partly Mocha and Super Spender, and I ended up going to the 10 Super Spender off the big improvement last time. You mentioned it was at Gulfstream West, the old Calder course. Jumped up to a 95 buyer, and that was a big improvement. So if this horse has gotten that good, then he's going to be tough to beat in here. If that was just a little bit of a fluke for some reason, then Partly Mocha is definitely the one I would look at. But Super Spender, I'm going to say the improvement's legit. Also 3 for 5 at Gulfstream Park, which I like. Partly Mocha's, I think, the one to beat. Fast Flying Rumor, the 4 I liked. Creaky Cricket, which is another one from the Ramsey stable, I'm going to throw in there. Ramsey stable loves to win the Claiming Crown Day. They have to win any day, but usually do well, and as does trainer Mike Maker on Claiming Crown Day. And Dr. J-Dub, who won the Grade 3 Turf Monster at Parks, I thought merited a look in here. But I'm going to key on the 10 Super Spender and make that one my win pick. Ninth race is the Tiara at 1 1/16 on the turf. I didn't have a strong opinion in here. There was another Ramsey Maker horse that I thought was interesting, Be Playful, the 10, but I ended up going to the 2, Kasuga. Source thinks 10 to 1 in the morning line, but has steadily improved since going in the barn of a new trainer. Has a good local work in preparation for this race, and I thought in a wide open field I was going to look for a little bit of a price, so I went to the 2, Kasuga. I would do an exacta box with as many of these as your budget will allow as far as just playing this race. The 10, Be Playful, the 8, Temple Fur, the 12, Daddy's Bro, who looks really good, but I don't like the post. And over Honey, just because Joe Bravo takes the mount here, and he didn't ride many on this day, and taking this mount at a big price, I thought that one was a little bit intriguing. But the 2, Kasuga, is going to be my win pick in the Tiara. How about you?
Well, it's amazing. We don't discuss these races as we've talked about in the past, but we're landed on close to the same horses. You mentioned 3 out of my top 4. The only one you didn't mention is the one that I'm going to take, Defying Gravity, the 9. The last race at Gulfstream broke a 6-race win streak for this horse, and then she came up just a little bit better at Gulfstream West, went off at 4 to 5, and a couple of these beat her, but I think that 6-race win streak tells a lot, although it has been a good keeper. She's 10 for 25 at Gulfstream, so she loves this place, and I'm going to take her on top. But the 3 horses that you mentioned, Be Playful, the 10, first off the claim for Maker, was claimed for $40,000 at Churchill. Kasuga the 2. I like Woodbine Shippers coming to Florida. There's a reason that they bring them down there, and this horse fits very well. And Daddy's Boo the 12 from the outside. If she had drawn a better post position, I would definitely take her. But the 12 hole does hurt at a mile and 16th. But she could be the controlling speed if she gets to the lead. So that's the 4 horses that I like, with Defying Gravity the 9 on top of the 2, 10, 12.
Move on to the 10th race, the Claiming Crown Jewel. It's the biggest purse of the day. Mile and an eighth, 3-year-olds and up. Royal Posse is going to be a big favorite in here. Can you beat Royal Posse?
And that's my single right there. I thought this race was really the simplest one of the bunch to handicap. Bigger Picture is got to go take a lot of money with Mike Maker and Ortiz on the inside, but he likes the turf better than the dirt, and really you have to go back a long way in his PTs to get a dirt race. And Royal Posse has been extremely consistent with the races in New York, just 92, 95, 97, 96 by well won. Never runs a bad race, and I think he's a standout in here. It would not shock me if Bigger Picture ran big. Diamond Bachelor, the 6, probably has a shot for Patrick Biancone, and the 7, John Jones, just off the speed alone, has a shot to go to the lead and take him a long way. But Laurel Shipper coming to Gulfstream. I like Royal Posse quite a bit in here, and I'm going to single Royal Posse in the pick 4.
Yeah, same thing for me. I thought this horse is in peak form, and he's also won on this track, which is a plus. I'm like you. I think Bigger Picture could run big in here. That's probably the most likely upsetter if Royal Posse doesn't win it. Homespun Hero, which is the other Ramsey, which is a Ramsey Maker horse, I thought came out of a couple of good races at Keeneland and Churchill, respectively, and might be worth a look at here. But 3, Royal Posse, a pretty strong pick for me in the Jewel. And finally, the 11th race, the Claiming Crown Emerald, back on the turf at a mile and a 16th for 3-year-olds and up. And I went to the 4 Keystone for Victory for Ramsey and Maker again here. This the last race has all the makings of just a prep. Awful will lay off, got a race under his belt, and 2 good works followed, and now ready to fire his best shot in this spot. 3 for 4 at Gulfstream Park doesn't hurt either. So I think a lot of signals there that are positive for Keystone for Victory. Jason Service, Joe Bravo, a pretty potent combo on the 8, Riviere de Lou. I thought was intriguing, the 8. And then K-Mac 13, the Air Bueno, the 14, and the 11, Class and Cash. All are certainly valid contenders in here, but the post positions are not great out there on the outside. So good post position, good prep. I'm going to take the 4 Keystone for Victory for a little bit of an upset in the Emerald. How about you?
I included that horse. Was not my top pick here, but I like the outside horses, and I'm like you. The post position does not help at all, but Kamek the 13 was my choice. Won 6 in a row until finally finished behind a really good horse, Coalport, in a Keeneland allowance race on October 15th. They gave him a little bit of a rest, and I would like him a lot better if he draw inside. But you take what you get, and I think he's probably the best horse. Flashy Chelsea, the 3, is one you didn't mention. Ships from Churchill, and has had 3 bad trips the last 3 races. Very eventful running lines. I would use the 4 Keystone for Victory, as you said. Lay down that pistol. The 1 could get a really nice trip from the rail. Dream Man, the 7, absolutely loves the distance. Is 4 for 14 at the distance. And Class and Cash, the one you mentioned, is 3 for 4 at the distance. The 11 horse, and finished in front of a couple of these in the Gulfstream Park West finale. So I'd probably go about 6 deep in here if I had enough money, and it would be those horses that I mentioned, with Kamek the 13 being my top pick.
All right, let's do the late pick 4 here on Claiming Crown Day at Gulfstream. It'll start in the 8th race. What's your ticket look like?
All right, my ticket looks like 4 horses, 3, 7, 9, 10, the ones that we talked about. And that would be, let me get my notes here, American Sailor, Partly Mocha, who was my top choice, Stevie's Man, and Super Spender. Then the second leg, the 2, 9, 10, 12, which is Kasuga, the one that you picked, and the 9 horse Defying Gravity, my top pick, Be Playful, the 10, and Daddy's Boo the 12. Single the 3, the 3-horse in the feature race, Royal Posse. And then I'm going to go 6 deep in the last race with the 3, Flashy Chelsea, the 4, Keystone for Victory, the 1, Layup Pistol Down, the 7, Dream Man, the 11, Class and Cash, and the 13, Kamek. So I think that's 4 by 4 by single by 6, which is about $48.
Similar ticket structure for me. I'm going to take all 5 that I mentioned in the first leg, the 8th, all 5 that I mentioned in the Tiara, single Royal Posse, and then take all 5 that I mentioned in the last leg if your budget affords it. If not, Class and Cash would be the one I'd maybe knock off at the bottom of the ticket there, but that would be 5 by 5 by 1 by 5. So for 50 cents, it'd be $62.50, and if you want to knock off one on the end of it, that'll knock it down to $50 if you take off Class and Cash on the last race. It's a really great card. They've got several other Claiming Crown races. There's a Rainbow Six that starts in the 6th race. If you play that, there's a horse in the 6th race, Defer Heaven, that I think's a definite single possibility there. So you could have a shot to make a pick 6 ticket, but it'd be hard to keep that thing affordable. If you single Defer Heaven and Royal Posse, maybe you could make it affordable. But there's even Claiming Crown races that start prior to the 6th. And then you've got the Grade 1 Hollywood Derby at Del Mar on Saturday, and that's a big and really well-matched field. So some great opportunities with big fields to make money this weekend if you can be right. Wish you best of luck. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and that's the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.